your gateway to AI and the cloud.
In this video, I want to show you how to solve a problem that is common in cloud engineering, system administration, and DevOps engineering. So the problem here is that you created a server, let's say an EC2 instance, to host your front end or your back end or your database, and then you lost access to your instance. You lost the SSH key to your instance, which is how you connect to your server remotely, or you didn't create any SSH key in the first place, or your SSH key got compromised. You let someone into your system, your computer, and then they were able to copy this key, connect to your server. Your SSH key was compromised. You lost your SSH key, or you didn't create any SSH key in the first place. But your server has been configured, whether for database or for front end or for back end. So how do you regain access to your server? So this is how we want to. This is what we want to solve in this particular video. So there are two ways. There are two methods. I've been able to solve this issue whenever whenever I had the issue. So the first way is I will get to create a new server. So hold on. When you create a new server, you are not going to start installing and configuring whatever you did for your previous server. What you do is that you transfer the state of your previous server to your new server. So the way you can do that is you can use an image, you can use a volume, you can use a snapshot. So snapshot, volume, images in terms of the cloud, they are not exactly the same thing, but they are kind of related, meaning they store the state of whatever server you are getting that thing from, whether your volume, your image, your snapshots, and they are kind of interchangeable. You can convert from one to the other. So we'll be using image specifically in this video because it's faster, it's easier to use compared to the others. So the way we do it is when you create your server, you configured your server, and then you lost access to the SSH key to your server, it got compromised. What you do is you create an image, and then you use that image to create a new server. Your new server will have the state of your previous server, but a new SSH key will be added to your new server. So you have access to a new SSH key which can use to connect to your new server. So let's try it out. I'll be using AWS in this video. I'll be using AWS, but you can use other cloud platforms. It's almost the same thing. Okay, let's get started. The way we do it is we launch an instance. Let's launch an instance. We'll configure the instance to host a simple web page. So let's call it test. Okay, we use Amazon Linux. Then we use a free tier enabled instance type. Let's create a key pair. We name our key pair test. Okay, so key pair already exists. So let's name it first. Let's name it first. So we can name the other one second. I'll get to delete all those key pair eventually later when I'm done. So we name it first. We'll create it. Then to be downloaded directly to our folder where we have access to it. So it is downloaded to our local computer. Okay, for network, we will allow HTTPS and we'll allow HTTP because we'll be hosting a simple web page or a website on our server, so that we'll be able to confirm the state of our server when we do the transfer. So I think that is all. We'll simply click on launch, and then our server is launching, or our instance is launching. Okay, our instance has been launched. So what you need is you need to get the IP address of your instance. So that is what you need to connect to your instance. So when you get the IP address of your instance, let's come over here first of all. If you click on the IP address of your instance, and let's say you want to see if you can connect to it 443, because when we eventually launch a simple web page, we're able to access the web page from this. So by default, you don't have access to any web page like this on your instance. So I just want to confirm this. I'm supposed to use HTTP. So it says it's not secure. And then I connect to it and it's showing the site can't be reached. As you can see, the site cannot be reached. Yeah, it's showing it cannot be reached. So I'll be using VS Code in this particular project. You can use any other IDE. If you notice here, we have our first.pem. So this is our key pair file. You open your terminal. These are you run the command to connect to ssh.i. Then you say first.pem. Then you use your user type at. So this will get you connected to your instance, provided your key pair and your IP address are correct. So you say yes. Wow, we are connected to our instance at this point. So I created a simple documentation for the configuration you want to make. So you are creating a simple demo folder on your instance or your server. Then what you do is you create a simple index.html file on that folder. So notice your index.html file has a statement, welcome to AI and cloud tech. Yes, you can confirm your file has been created. So now what you do is you change to root user, which you run the command sudo su. Okay, because to run this other command you need administrator access. So this other command is a Python server. Simply just responds with the HTML of your server. The HTML is found on your server when a user tries to connect through 443, port 443. Okay, looks like it's saving. So what we do is we try to access our server again and confirm that it's now serving our simple website. Can give it some time or can use the 443. Okay, now you see it's connected. When you use the port 443, it's connected. So if you noticed earlier, we used the port 443, but it didn't connect. So we used the port 443, it didn't connect. That is why. But now it's connected. Okay, that is that. We have been able to show that our server now has a state, which is a simple web server that serves a simple web page, which is our index.html. So let's stop the server at this point. Then we can exit our instance. Yeah, we can exit our instance. Okay, we can close this out well. Okay, so now we have a state for our server and our instance. We serve a simple web page that reads, welcome to AI and cloud tech. So what we want to do is now we want to assume I lost access to first.pem, or let's say someone copied first.pem from my computer, so I know it's a security breach. That person will be able to use first.pem to connect to my server eventually. So what I want to do is that I want to either regain I want to either recreate a new SSH key, but I want to regain access to my server. So what I will do is come over here to your instance or your server, click on actions. You go over here to image and templates. Okay, it's still showing as pending, so you want to refresh so that the actual state will be enhanced. So come over here to image and templates. Now you can create an image of your server. Let's name it test. We can say previous server state. That's all you need. Click create image. Okay, you come over here to AMIs, which is where you have your images. Now you can see your image. You click on your image. you can see the statement launch instance from AMI. So this is what you do. So what you are doing here is that you when you created your AMI, you created a snapshot as well, which is you stored the state of your previous server as this AMI or snapshots. Then now what you want to do is you want to launch a new server using that state you stored previously. So you click on it, launch instance from AMI. Okay, now we'll name our other instance second. We'll name our other instance second. It already has an AMI type, so we are not selecting any of these AMI again. And we use a free tier enabled instance. Now we can create a new key pair, which is the issue we have been facing since we lost our key pair file, or our key pair file was compromised. So we'll name this one second. Create key pair as well. It will be stored to the same folder. For networking, we still have to enable the same network type. Then we launch our instance. So remember, our new instance is called second. So whatever we are doing at this point, we have to be sure. Oh, the snapshot is still pending. Snapshot is still pending. So let's hold on a little bit. We can trace the snapshots over here, and we can monitor the states of our snapshot. Still pending. So we have to hold on a little bit. So I'll pause the video, and we'll come back to it when it started running. Okay, so our image is now available. So let's try to launch our instance again. Hopefully it will work this time around. But the issue here is that we have created the security group successfully. We have created the security groups rule successfully, and every other thing we have created. So those might be issues because you might need to create them all over again. But let's try it and see. If it doesn't work, we have to start all over again. Okay, it's created it successfully. Okay, so note we are using our instance, which is called second at this point. Note it here. So what we want to do is we want to copy our instance IP address, and we want to SSH to it. It's still pending, but let's try to see this. Okay, now it's running. So go back to your VS Code or whatever ID you use. Notice your new key pair second.pem, and you can see SSH I. Then you can use your second key pair. Then you can say EC2 user. Then your IP address. Okay, now you have connected to your new instance, which has the same state as your previous instance. So what you can do at this point is, let's confirm if our folder is still present. You can see your folder over here, demo. Then go into your folder and confirm your index.html file is there. So what we can do is, we can show the contents of our index.html file. Yeah, so the contents of our index.html file is our tag and then welcome to AI and Cloud Tech. So we can run the server again to confirm this. So remember to move over to administrator user or root user before you run the command. So you say sudo su, then you run your Python command. Now it's serving. So this is your second. So notice this is your second server, not serve, not the first or the test. This is your second. So you copy your IP address. So you come over here, you click this, then you call to add your protocol. And to include the port 443. So now you see, welcome to AI and Cloud Tech. So confirm you are using the same IP address as your second instance, 18.119.122.101. So confirm it's the same IP address. So if you go back to your previous instance, let's go back to our previous instance. Let's go back to our previous instance. Okay, so this is our test instance. Yeah, we can equally test this one to confirm it's still working. You confirm this one is still working as well. Okay, we stopped the server. That's the issue. So you shouldn't try this one because we stopped the server. That's the issue. There's no need to try to SSH to it again. You stopped the server, so that's why it's not working. So you close this. But as you can see, your test instance is still here. Then your second instance, and you are actually connecting to your server through your second instance. So that's how this first method works. You are storing the state of your current server and you are creating an image out of it, or a snapshot, or you're getting the volume out of it. The volume is where majority of the things are stored, and then you are using that volume, that image, or that snapshot to create a new server. So the new server contains the old server environment. So that is it with this first method. So we'll delete our instance. And then we'll try the second method. Maybe we can continue using from this same instance. Yeah, we can continue using it from this same instance. Let's try it out. We'll continue to use it from this specific instance, which is our test instance. I'm assuming I lost access to my test instance. I lost the SSH key. So you come over here to your VS Code. Let's stop this. Exit, and exit. Okay. Should we delete this? Okay, let's leave it. We'll just leave it as. Well, let's leave it. There's no need to delete those key pairs. Let's go with our documentation. So this is the SSH process. So what we are trying to do in this process is that we want to create new key pair directly, because with the first method, AWS created new key pairs for us. So the key pairs we eventually used to access our instance, or our new instance was created by AWS. But what we can do is we can create a new key pair. I think I believe you might think it's not possible, but it's possible. You can create your own key pair, and then you can use this key pair to log into your instance, provided you can find a way to give to share that key pair with your instance. And I'll show you how you can do it in this particular video. So how we do it, we create our local key pair from your VS Code. You create your local key pair from your VS Code, or whatever ID you use. So you run this command. What this command does is that it will create a new key pair. When it creates the new key pair, you see the new key pair files. To create two files for you, one of them is .pub and the other one is just an ordinary file. You should not put anything here. Now you see the two file over here, access and access.public. So the .public is what you want to move to your server. The .public is what you move to your server. So what you can do is, according to our documentation, you display the content of the .public. So you come over here, you say cat .pub. This will display the content of the .public. So you copy its content. Or you don't need to copy it at this point. The next thing you need to do is you go to the instance you lost access to, which is your test instance. Notice this is your test instance. So recall I mentioned earlier that I lost access to my test instance. So this is your test instance. Then you click on connect. There are various ways you can connect to your instance on AWS without using SSH. SSH is the way you can connect directly from your own local terminal. But there are other ways you can connect to AWS server without using SSH. You can use Instance Connect, or you can use your systems manager, which is SSM. So SSM, it's a software in AWS that installs or configures your instance to enable a connection to your instance without using SSH. So SSM doesn't use SSH, and as well, Instance Connect doesn't use SSH. So I should also point out something to you, that before you can use Instance Connect to connect to your instance, then that your instance must be of image, Amazon Linux or Ubuntu. If your instance is having the image of Windows or Debian, no. If it's using the image of Windows or Bitnami, you cannot use Instance Connect to connect to your instance. So do have that in mind. If you are using Bitnami or Windows system or server, you cannot use Instance Connect to connect to your instance. So over here, you click on, recall I'm using test, right? You can see it here, instance test. You click on connect to open the server for you, and then you can connect. So according to our documentation, what you do is you echo your key pair into this file here. So in your server, which is the one you lost your SSH key access to, there's this file in this directory .ssh authorized underscore key. So before we go through this, I will show you the file. So let me copy this. So now you have access to your instance through Instance Connect. You can do anything you want from Instance Connect. Like, okay, you can do anything you want from Instance Connect, but we have the issue that we want to connect directly from our own local terminal, not from the browser. So let me show you the file on the authorized keys on your server. So we remove this. Okay, now if you list the files, you see authorized keys. And if I display authorized keys for you, let me display the content of authorized keys for you. You will confirm that it has similar content to the ones we created on our terminal on VS Code. So notice the content we have over here on our terminal: SSH, RSA, and this and that. Then coming over here to authorized key, if we display it, we'll see the same kind of content: SSH, RSA. So what this means is that that key we created just now on our terminal on VS Code is similar to the key that is in authorized keys. So these authorized keys is what you use to connect to your server when you use SSH. So what we want to do is we want to replace the authorized keys we generated just now on our terminal on VS Code. We want to use it to replace what is here currently, because what is here currently, we can no longer connect to our server with this particular one because it has been compromised or we lost it. So you can remove it or you can replace it. So what I'll do is I'll remove it. I'll remove the file. But it's not necessary to remove it. You can add to it, which is you can add your new key to this particular file. It will still work out, but I would like to remove it. So let's confirm it has been removed. Okay. So So now I come over here, I'll say echo you come over here to your authorized keys. You come over here to the key you generated. Remember, we generated this key, access.pub, and then we displayed the contents of the key. So you copy the contents of the key. Ensure you are meticulous about it, so you don't add extra space while you try to copy it. Ensure you don't add extra space while you try to copy it. Okay, you come over here, looking at the commands again. It says we have to use double quotes, or perhaps we don't have to. Let's use single quotes on this one. Okay. Okay, you click on enter. So let's see. Okay, now we have authorized keys. Oh wow, we made a mistake. We have to run that command again. So let's remove authorized key. If you notice, we have this, so it's wrong. We have to run that command again. I didn't know where that came from, but let's remove that. Okay, it's no longer there. We have to run the command again, and we have to remove this. Okay, now let's confirm we have the right. Yes, we have authorized keys, and we can print the content of authorized keys. Yeah, it's the same content as the one yes, it's the same content. So what we can do is, according to our documentation, we add a .pen to the name of the other file in your local computer, and try to SSH your remote server, SSH to your remote server using the file. So this is the SSH command. So you come over here to your VS Code. Let's create a new terminal. So over to your, recall you have your access.pub. So this one is where you copied the content to your server. Then you have your access over here. So you rename this, you add a .pen to it. Okay, now you have your access.pen. So this is what you want to use to SSH to your new server. You use your SSH command, access.pen. Then use your user type, EC2 user. Then your IP address, come over here to get your IP address. Remember, we are still using the .test, and remember the .test has associated security key. Where is the associated security key again? The associated SSH key. It's supposed to be somewhere. The name of the key is supposed to be somewhere. Yeah. Okay, we'll try to get that later. We'll get to that later, because we'll have to try to SSH to our key again to our server again, to ensure that that key is no longer valid on our server. Come over here, you put your IP address, and let's see if it works. It will definitely work, and it worked. So you see, we have been able to SSH to our test instance. So we got the IP address from where? Test. And then we use what? Key pair, access.pen. Recall access.pen is what we created just now. So let's confirm this is our test instance, although our second instance, which we created later on, has the same content. To confirm, you can see your demo, and then you can as well you can start the server. So let's go back to that command to start our server. Recall, you have to switch to root user. So you say sudo 2. And then you run this. Okay. Now our web server is running. So if you change this to HTTP, then you add your 443. Oh god. Okay. Oh, I think I made a mistake. Yes, I made a mistake. I didn't start the server directly from. Okay, I didn't start the server directly from. I didn't start the server directly from the right folder, so I have to move into the demo folder. So you have to move into your demo folder before you start your server. Yeah, so this will do it. If you refresh, you see welcome to AI and Cloud Tech. So you have to move to your demo folder before you start your server. So one thing I wanted to do was that I wanted to confirm. So let's stop this. I wanted to show you, where is it? Okay, closed. Okay, so I want to show you that, recall, for our test instance, we created the key pair. The first key pair we created was first.pem. So what I want to show you here is that at this moment, I can't use first.pem to connect through SSH to the server anymore. And the reason I can't use first.pem is that particular the connected SSH key that is meant to reside on our server on this particular authorized keys has been deleted. Remember, I recall I deleted the key, so it's no longer there. So therefore, if I try to connect, it's no longer valid. Why? Because I deleted the authorized key. So if I had added both my new public key and the previous authorized key that was there, which is also a public key, if I had added both of them on the same file, I would have been able to connect using both first.pem. I'm using access.pem to the server. So let's confirm this. If you do this, you are using first.pem. What does it show? It shows permission denied, and this is due to the public key. Public key is no longer there on the authorized keys, so I can't connect to it. Did I store the content? Okay, let's try it out. Let's try it. Let's do a little bit of fun here. So what I will do is that I will add, yeah, the file is still here because I remember I printed it. I will add to it the contents. Okay, it's first here. I will add to it. I just hope I'm able to get the full content. Hopefully I'm able to get the full content. So I'll add to it. We need to get the command again. So the command is echo I'm making a small mistake and this is going to be difficult to. Oh shit. You know what, let's finish it up. Recall there's an issue here, so we have to remember to come over here to fix this issue. Then the next thing we do is we do this. Then we do this .ssh .authorized keys. I just want to be sure I get the proper file name correctly. Authorized keys, okay. I think I got it. So let's go over there to that point where we had issues so we can fix it. This is slow, but we have no option. Yeah, so be meticulous about it so you don't delete anything that you're not meant to delete. Okay, you click on enter. So let's see. Okay, so that is it. So what we can do is we can print the content of authorized keys now to confirm it has both. Yes, it has both key pair files. It has both. So let's see if it works out. Trying to connect using both key pairs. Wow, it works out. Yeah, it works out. So that is it. You can. So I've been able to show you two methods where, in case you lost access to your SSH key or you compromise your SSH key, the different ways or the two ways you can try to regain access to your server without having to do reconfiguration or creating a new server from scratch that you need to reconfigure. So what you do is that you can store the state of your server and then you create a new server using that stored state. That way you don't get to do any reconfiguration. Of course, the IP address of your new server changes. That is about the only thing that changes or the major thing that changes. So that is where you have to do some changes. Then the other way, of course, is to create your own key pair file locally. Then you transfer the content of the public of your key pair file to your server under the authorized keys file, which you see on the .ssh folder. So it's not best for you to start tampering with this thing on a live server. So this is just like should I say, a rescue process for you in case you lose access to your server. So this is just a way to solve the issue, or rather one of the ways. These are the ways I've done it before, and I suppose there are other ways as well which I don't know of, and you can as well tell me on the comment section. But these are the ways I've been able to solve issues like this whenever I come across them. So thank you for watching. So the next thing right here is for you to delete your servers. Ensure you delete your servers so you don't start accumulating costs for servers you might not be using. If it's your production servers, of course, you don't need to delete them.
Your gateway to AI and the cloud. We make videos showing you the latest in tech, and we break down the real-world use cases. If you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you don't miss any updates. Thanks for watching.